Ukraine's intelligence operatives have destroyed a Russian Triumph and other expensive air defense equipment in Russian-annexed Crimea Peninsula. The main intelligence directorate, known as HUR, has released footage of a strike on the command post of an S-400 Triumf surface-to-air missile division that was in a combat position, along with a Russian multifunctional 92N6E radar and the autonomous power supply system equipment for the S-400 command post. The video of the operation has been shared in social media. During the night of November 1st to 2nd, specialists from the Department of Active Operations of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine attacked another set of high-value assets belonging to the Russian air defense system in temporarily occupied Crimea, the agency said in a statement. Ukraine's intelligence operatives also successfully struck an ARL-1AS airfield surveillance radar and a P-18 Terek radar station belonging to the Russian army. Earlier, the special unit of the Defense Intelligence struck 3 radar stations and a Russian landing craft in the occupied Crimea Peninsula. Produced by Russia's Almaz-Antey Corporation, the S-400 is one of the country's most advanced surface-to-air missile systems, capable of engaging aircraft and ballistic targets at ranges exceeding 200 kilometers. Its deployment in Crimea has been a key component of Russia's air defenses since 2014. Agents of the partisan movement Atesh conducted reconnaissance of the territory of the 102nd Separate Special Purpose Detachment, which is responsible for countering underwater sabotage forces and assets of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, in Kostiantynivska Bay, Sevastopol. Atesh reported this event on its Telegram channel. During the reconnaissance, agents recorded the movement of a rubber boat carrying personnel of Russian Special Forces, who were likely returning from a combat mission. According to reports, this unit is involved in guarding the Crimean Bridge. Additionally, a military vehicle and a group of service members escorting the Russian Spetsnaz were recorded. It also identified the locations of all berths, the observation post, and other boats and vehicles inside the base. The defeat of this military unit would weaken the security of the Crimean Bridge and reduce the occupiers' presence on the peninsula, Atesh said. All collected information has been transmitted to the armed forces of Ukraine. It is also known that Atesh agents, embedded in the 115th Separate Motor Rifle Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces, disrupted the dispatch of Russian service members for assaults near Pokrovsk by burning their own truck. Our agents from the 115th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces, stationed in the area of the village of Avdiivka, destroyed their own truck after learning about the task of heading for suicidal assaults near Pokrovsk, the partisans noted. In this way, the agents delayed the unit's departure and saved their lives. As reported, Atesh agents from the 74th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces, which is suffering huge losses in the Pokrovsky direction, are reporting a critical wave of desertion. The command, which received an order to capture Pokrovsk as soon as possible, continuously throws personnel into suicidal assaults, not giving its subordinates any rest. A key factor in desertion is the complete lack of evacuation of the wounded from the battlefield and the failure to provide them with medical care. The dead invaders are cynically recorded as missing in action in order to hide the real losses. Recently, 38 fighters have left the positions of the 74th Brigade, despite the fact that special groups are being formed behind enemy lines to capture them. The effective use of special units of the SOU only increases panic among the invaders. Partisans are actively operating in Russia, damaging relay cabinets on important railway lines. Similar resistance actions are also taking place in the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. The press service of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine reported this. A video was published on the agency's Telegram channel, demonstrating successful operations in various locations behind enemy lines. The number of fires at the aggressor state's railway facilities is constantly growing, intelligence officers noted, calling guerrilla operations the flames of resistance. In recent months, fires and other incidents have been recorded in the Bryansk, Rostov, and Murmansk regions, as well as in Chechnya and Karabakh. The invaders' logistics were subjected to guerrilla attacks in the Ukrainian frontier areas, in Crimea and Luhansk region. Coordinated partisan attacks undermine the enemy's ability to move equipment and reinforcements, complicate logistics, and weaken its offensive potential. The main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense explained the value of such operations. Resistance to the criminal war against Ukraine within the aggressor state is growing, the press service added. A wave of sabotage against telecommunications infrastructure continues in the terrorist country of Russia and in Ukraine's military-industrial zone. Guerrillas are systematically destroying cell phone towers and equipment belonging to local operators. In recent months, new fires have been recorded in the Republic of Adygia, Rostov Oblast, Kamchatka Krai, and the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine, according to the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. The agency notes that its response continues systematically. Agents of the Ukrainian and Crimean Tatar military movement, Atesh, continue their sabotage operations behind enemy lines. In the temporarily occupied town of Tokmak in the Zaporizhia region, they attacked a railway used by the Russians for logistics. Following the successful sabotage, the Russians encountered difficulties transporting personnel, equipment, and ammunition to the Zaporizhia area. A similar situation occurred near the temporarily occupied city of Berdyansk. An explosion on the tracks derailed a locomotive, 10 train cars, and a cover platform. As OBOZ.UA reported, agents of the Ukrainian and Crimean Tatar military movement, Atesh, staged another act of sabotage in the aggressor country's Bryansk region. As a result of the successful operation, the enemy's command and control system at a key communications hub was paralyzed. It was also reported that a Kiev region court sentenced an agent of the Russian Federation, an aggressor state, who was exposed by the security service of Ukraine. The perpetrator had committed acts of sabotage at Ukrzaliznytsia facilities and was planning a terrorist attack on the TCC.